Welcome back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight, happy to get back to Chuck Norris again. And I want to talk about and review one of my very favorite Chuck Norris movies. I think it's a lot of fun. It's got disturbing parts to it, but it's one of his earlier films, and I had a blast with it as a kid. I still like it a lot. I'm talking about Silent Rage with Chuck Norris. If you want to see, for example, if you're a fan of slasher films, if you're a fan of kind of unstoppable serial killers, if you have a fantasy about, I wish Chuck Norris would fight Michael Myers, well, this is your movie. This is your movie because that's kind of what it's about. It's got martial arts in here. It's a Chuck Norris film. If you like martial arts, I think you'll like this film. If you like action movies, martial arts movies, I think you'll like this film. And I'm not saying it's anywhere near as good as Halloween 1 and 2 in terms of the slasher aspect of this film, but it's a good movie. There's a killer in here. And at the beginning of the movie, uh, it's a disturbing sequence of scenes. At the beginning of the movie, this one guy, he's got mental problems. He's in a room, a rented room. I think he's living there. And he has to keep in contact with his doctor, and he has to keep his medication, taking his medication so he doesn't come unglued and get out of balance and everything. And the noise is driving him crazy. There's kids in this place. This one lady's yelling all the time, and he snaps. Tries to call his doctor. The doctor tries to calm him down, and he just hangs up the phone, drops his medication, goes and gets an axe and goes after the lady and tries to kill her with the axe. He snaps. And so he's deranged from the beginning. He has this in him from the beginning, and he takes her. He takes her out. She tries to hide. He chases her upstairs. He chases her upstairs. He kills someone who tries to help her, and then he chops the door down and he gets her with the axe. Chuck Norris shows up, looks for the killer. He's hiding. He jumps out and attacks Chuck Norris. They have a fight. Chuck Norris, goes back and forth a little bit, but Chuck Norris subdues him. And it's an interesting movie. He subdues him, puts the handcuffs on him. The guy breaks the handcuffs and he's out of control. He tries to take one of the cops' weapons, so they shoot him multiple times. And he's taken to the emergency room. And there's a doctor. Ron Silver is in this movie. He actually plays his doctor, Ron Silver. I always liked Ron Silver. He was in Blue Steel. He was in Blind Side with Rebecca De Mornay and the great Rutger Hauer. But I always liked Ron Silver. And he's in here. He plays the doctor, the doctor who's in charge of this patient called John Kirby. The killer's name is John Kirby. And the guy who plays him, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but he played Roach in Platoon Leader. I don't know if you've ever seen Platoon Leader, but there's a tough guy in there called Roach, and he plays him, one of the soldiers. He's a tough guy in there. And he was also in Buried Alive with Tim Matheson and Jennifer Jason Leigh. He played the mortician in there, I believe, the guy who handled the dead bodies. I've seen him in various other films. He was in The Octagon, had a small part in The Octagon, and he fits the part in here as the killer. He barely survives after the police shoot him. And there's another doctor besides Ron Silver in this movie. He was also in Death Wish, too, the doctor in here. And he has this experimental drug that's supposed to heal patients. They've never tested it on a human being before. He secretly tests it on this killer and brings him back. And now, if you cut the guy, I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but especially if you haven't seen it. I think a lot of action fans have, but it's been out for decades. Most of my reviews are spoiler reviews because most of the movies I do have been out for decades, like these older nostalgic, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee movies, Arnold, Van Damme, Eastwood, Bronson, all of them, Willis. But so now if you shoot the guy or cut the guy, he automatically starts to heal. Bones mend, cuts heal, disease is cured. That's what this experimental drug does. And it's fascinating. He gets more and more powerful, and then he finally gets out and he starts killing people. Chuck Norris has to go after him, has to find him. But in the midst of all this, Chuck Norris, he's a sheriff. He's a police officer. He's a sheriff, and with a cowboy hat, kind of like a ranger in a way, but not really a ranger. But he's a sheriff, and he has fights in here. He cleans up a whole tavern. There's a tavern of there's a motorcycle gang in the tavern. He gets into a fight with them and beats up everybody in the bar. So if you like Chuck Norris action, kind of 80s action, and some cheese, I think you'll like this. But it's a Chuck Norris movie with the martial arts, and it's got this kind of Michael Myers, Jason kind of killer in here that Chuck Norris fights at the end. So it's a fun movie. If you've always wanted to see Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers, this is your movie. Even though he's not Michael Myers, but he could take a lot. I mean, he starts healing instantaneously. There's a part where he is shot by Chuck Norris and he falls out of this hospital building all the way to the concrete down below. And by the time Chuck Norris gets down there, his bones are mended and he's healed, and he tries to choke Chuck Norris. They fight again. Chuck Norris uses his martial arts against him. It's fun. It's really a fun movie. If you haven't seen it, I think you're in for a treat. It's got a good balance between martial arts. There's some disturbing scenes in here and a little drama because of how the movie opens and the killing scenes at the beginning and how he snapped. Other than that, though, it's primarily a science fiction action slasher movie, and it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's always been one of my favorites. Silent Rage, and it's well done. I mean, it's not the acting in here is pretty good for. I mean, for an action movie, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty darn good for an action, older, like nostalgic movie. It's pretty good, and it's not great, but it's good. It's fun. It's got a lot of action. The pace is not slow. It runs at a pretty good clip. If you're a Chuck Norris fan, I think you'll like it. And if you haven't seen it, you're going to be in for a treat. If you like these films, I always had a blast with it. You know, I grew up watching Chuck Norris movies, loved his movies, especially his early films. I think my favorite, I might do a Chuck Norris ranking in the future. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that my favorite, it could change, especially if I do a ranking and really think about it, but my favorite Chuck Norris movie of all time is Forced Vengeance. I think that's still my favorite Chuck Norris movie. Love that. I love An Eye for an Eye, Octagon, A Force of One, Breaker Breaker. That came out the year I was born in 77. Chuck Norris has always been an inspiration to me. Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee. I said it before in numerous other videos. You know, I come from a fighting family, and I've always worked out and trained, especially when I was in my early 20s. I started to take it more serious. Chuck Norris was always one of those that inspired me, along with Bruce Lee, Arnold, Van Damme, Stallone. But when it comes to martial arts, yeah, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. It's one of my favorite Chuck Norris movies, this Silent Rage. I like it better than most of his later stuff. I like it better than most of his later stuff, but it's right up there with his early stuff, like I mentioned, the Forced Vengeance and An Eye for an Eye. I like it similar to those, even though Forced Vengeance is still probably my favorite Chuck Norris movie. Maybe I'll do a ranking like top 5 one day. I'm not sure. But yeah, Silent Rage. It's fun. It's got a lot of action in it. If you do like action and martial arts movies, and then you've always wanted to see, well, I wonder what it would be like Chuck Norris against Michael Myers, this is your film. It's a good one. And this guy can run too. He doesn't walk. He runs after you. This John Kirby, this killer in this movie that Chuck Norris has to fight later. They should make a part 2, I think, because if they can bring him back, and he's someone who heals, you know, you cut him, you can see the cut healing. In fact, they do an experiment with him. Ron Silver is against this, by the way. He's absolutely against the other doctor giving him this experimental drug. And especially when he sees his brain chemistry, it changes his brain chemistry and his brain cells after they start giving him this drug. He's even more deranged than he was to begin with. And Ron Silver is against it. He tries to get the other doctor to stop and let the man, he said, let him die, don't bring him back. And the doctor says, okay. They fight, they argue, but he gives in. When Ron Silver leaves, he does it anyway. He keeps injecting in this drug into him. It's a fun movie. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites. It's got cheese in there. It's got some silly stuff in there, but there's a lot of seriousness in this movie too, with the killer and how he's getting this drug and how it's becoming worse. This doctor is corrupt. Not Ron Silver, but the other doctor. Ron Silver plays a pretty decent guy in here. I like Ron Silver. He was always a good actor. And it's one of Chuck Norris's funnest movies, I think. Silent Rage. I give it a thumbs way up. Check it out. I think you'll like it if you're a Chuck Norris fan. This has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe, and it helps the channel. It influences me to make more videos and encourages me. So thank you very much for watching. This has been the Late Night Review, and have a good night.